What's up, Average Dad fans? Welcome back to another video. This week it's the turn of the Xiaomi 13 Ultra. Yes, I've had my SIM card stuffed up this thing's bottom for the past couple of days. I didn't even buy it a drink. Let's talk about my first impressions of this fairly large and incredible device. Now, as mentioned, SIM card in here is a dual SIM, 5G connectivity. This particular variant is a Chinese import with a Chinese ROM. However, there is a global release that you can pick up very soon for around £1,300. However, through WONDA Mobile, you can get the Chinese ROM version for around £830. So that's nearly £500 saving. And with Xiaomi, what you can simply do is just flash the global ROM to this. Process takes around 5 days, but you've essentially got a global version of the 13 Ultra for nearly £500 or $600 cheaper. My WONDA Mobile link is in the description. Make sure you click on that, and if you pay by bank transfer, you'll get a 3% discount. No, it's not much, but every little helps. Now, hardware-wise on the Xiaomi 13 Ultra, as mentioned, it's a big boy. It's a behemoth. 6.73 inch Super AMOLED WQHD display. Barely any bezels around the left, right or top. However, there's a slight chin on it, and only slightly when you compare it back to, phones from 5 years ago. This is not a chin, but compared to their other bezels, there's a small chin. The screen itself is also 120Hz with the latest and greatest LTPO3 technology, so from 1Hz all the way up to 120 depending on your usage and app. And with it being MIUI 14 inside, you can customize the screen resolution, the refresh rate. And while I'm talking about MIUI 14, as far as Android skins go, this has always been one of my favourites, from the Xiaomi Mi 11 Ultra, which was my first Xiaomi device, to the Mix Fold 2, and now this. I love the customization you get with it, from fingerprint to always on display and charging, everything in between. I especially like the dynamic wallpapers that you get from Xiaomi. These are really cool, from lock screen to open screen to, using your device. I like the dynamic wallpapers. And since I've touched on the software of the Xiaomi 13 Ultra, there are heaps and heaps of security and privacy features built in here. So for those that have a concern about security when it comes to Android compared to Apple, or a Chinese phone compared to one that you've bought here, even though they're all made in China, fear not. App lock, second space, secret folders, security virus updates all the time. And while we're talking about updates, this phone will get at least 3 years of Android OS updates and 5 years of security patches. Not too shabby. Now, as far as the rest of the device, this is a thick, heavy phone. 230 grams, about 12 millimeters thick. And as hopefully you can see here, it gets narrower to thicker all the way up. And yes, that is a large camera bump, but for good reason. This is a quad camera setup with 4 50 megapixel lenses, from wide to ultra wide, telephoto and periscope zoom. I'm delighted to see that there's a 5 times optical zoom, 2 times optical zoom. You can go up to 120 times digital zoom. However, as you can see from these pictures, I wouldn't recommend it. It's not great, but anything up to 30 times is pretty fantastic. Now, as far as the colour accuracy and lenses, because they're using the latest and greatest sensors, they are getting unbelievable colour reproduction throughout all 4 lenses. And when you use the video mode, you can use all lenses without having to pause or restart your video. It all works seamlessly throughout, and I was super impressed. Here's some examples I took using the video on the rear and on the front, because that's the one thing that does kind of disappoint me. Let's talk about it. The Xiaomi 13 Ultra features 8K on all three lenses on the rear. However, stabilisation with 8K can be a bit choppy. This is me walking at a steady pace using the main wide 50 megapixel lens on 8K resolution, and from what I can see on the monitor, this looks very, very stabilised. Now it is OIS, CIS, it's got all the stabilisation you need, and again folks, this is 8K footage. You're probably not watching it on 8K TV, but trust me, having used 8K before, this is the most stable I have ever seen it. Now while 8K is great, this is the typical mode you will use, which is 4K 30 frames per second, and again, super stable, walking at around 3.5 miles an hour. Trying to keep steady, no gimbal. Now one thing that I do want to know about the video capability is how smooth is the zoom through all the lenses while in video mode. Oh. The answer, very. Now you can see there, that is me at 15x zoom. Wow. Let's bring it back in. Let's go ultra wide. Now, I am also intrigued to know how the inbuilt microphone sounds. So now we come to the conundrum of the Xiaomi 13 Ultra. You've seen all of the camera footage, videos, photography. This is a front-facing selfie camera in 1080p resolution, yes. While all lenses have 8K on the rear, for some unbeknownst reason to me, and I've mentioned this in previous videos, like the Honor for example. The Honor has a 4K selfie camera, and I mentioned at the time that's actually quite a bonus, quite a rarity when it comes to Chinese smartphones. And here's my case in point. The Xiaomi 13 Ultra is top tier when it comes to, well, almost everything. Why Xiaomi haven't put a 4K camera in the selfie, I have no idea. But this is what you get. It's obviously not terrible. There was a time where 1080p was mind-blowing to people. But as technology has advanced, I'm disappointed that 4K isn't here. 8K on the rear is not a gimmick per se, but not many people are going to take advantage of that. People take advantage of 4K, particularly these days. It's all about social media and selfies. Anyway, how's the microphone? Other feedback I've heard in other reviews is that the microphone picks up a lot of wind noise. Now for maybe the first time in history, it's not a windy day in Scotland. So yeah, let's see how the inbuilt microphone is. Now in order to keep your phone going throughout the day with all those photos and videos that you want to take, we have to talk about battery. Stuffed inside here, which I suppose they didn't really need to stuff it that much because it's quite a thick boy, 5,000 mAh battery, and pair that with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chip that I mentioned in my previous Honor Magic 5 Pro video. Super impressive. This is another 2-day Android device. The gap between Android and iPhones has closed in my opinion, and in some cases the Android phones are overtaking in battery life. Where they always have overtaken is with the charging speeds. 90 watts wired, 50 watts wireless with 10 watts reverse wireless charging. Reverse wireless charging is not a gimmick, it is actually quite cool to be able to charge somebody's phone or your own earbuds. If you're in a pinch, if you're on a train, wherever it may be, you can charge somebody else's device if needed. Now, with regards to the 90 watts wired, the charger is included in the box and it will get your phone from dead to 100% in 35 minutes. And if you want to use 50 watts wireless, it'll actually get your phone from dead to fully charged in 45 to 50 minutes. Super cool. Now before we wrap up first impressions, a few other things I want to touch on. Think of the latest and greatest specs that it has. Now it's got the Adreno 740 GPU, it's got UFS 4.0 storage, it's got a USB-C 3.2 with DisplayPort, and you can use the Xiaomi's Can't remember the name of it. If I remember, I'll put an asterisk, but they've got a desktop mode from their phone as well. It's got everything you could want from a mobile phone. And the fact that you can get this, as mentioned, from WONDA for just over £800, and you can flash the global ROM to it, this is, again, I feel like I've just been riding Chinese phones, you know what's for a while. But it's true, I really feel strongly that value for money wise, the Honor that I mentioned before was £950. This is arguably a better device with better cameras. It's £130, £120 cheaper than even that. So yeah, if you're looking to buy from WONDA, again, the link is in the description. You will not be disappointed. So as mentioned, it's only been a couple of days with the device. I'm impressed so far. But I will be doing a camera comparison and camera test on this with the Honor Magic 5 Pro and the Google Pixel 7 Pro. I will also be doing a full review within the next 7 days or so. But yeah, outlook is positive for not just the Xiaomi, but all Chinese devices, and more importantly, us as the consumers. If you have purchased anything from WONDA over the past year or two, let me know what it was and let me know if you still have it and if you've had any issues. What I also want to do is I want to hear from you when it comes to customer service from WONDA. When I tell people that it's super fast delivery and it's a reliable service and there's a returns policy that you can use, people think I am in cahoots with WONDA. Now, while I have an affiliate link, I'm not in cahoots. I'm an honest reviewer. That's the whole point of my channel. So it'd be good to hear from you, the viewers and subscribers, in the comments down below. For all those newbies, for all those people that are still a bit apprehensive about importing a Chinese device, pop some comments giving your experiences with buying from WONDA or Gistop or Blue Iode or whoever else. Now, until next time, you know the drill. Take care and